young person in this industry who has no filter and no idea.
Inside Disney's Snow White fiasco, threats, beefed up security, and a social media guru to shut her up.
And to everyone who hates when I win, the winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her. And I can only hope that despite my flaws, and despite my cracks and my breaks, and there are many of them, that at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line.
Fool, I've been as a young person in this industry who has no restraint and no clue inside. Disney's Snow White fiasco threats heightened security and a social media expert to silence her. And to everyone who despises when I succeed, the winged victory came to the Ellen fragments, and people still queue up to view her. And I can only wish that, despite my faults and
Disney is going woke and going broke once again.
Despite my cracks and my fractures, and there are plenty of them, that at every premiere and all I undertake, people will wait in LA. Rachel Zegler couldn't hold back tears, and now Gal Gadot's silence is officially ended, with Snow White turning into a complete catastrophe. Disney is reportedly pointing fingers, and Rachel's directly in the spotlight. What really happened? Did Rachel ruin the film? Or is she just the convenient target for a much larger mess? Let's dissect the drama.
Narcissist.
The blame and the whole debacle, because this failure just got personal. Rachel Zegler's worst nightmare has officially materialized. Fans had long foreseen that Snow White would flop, but what Rachel likely didn't anticipate was Gal Gadot, allegedly pointing the finger at her. She is going progressive and going broke once again, and just when things couldn't get worse, even the producer's own son has joined the criticism, directly blaming Rachel for the disaster, slamming her for what he calls a self-centered personality. Narcissist Gal Gadot just got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It's a major milestone, but guess who wasn't there? Rachel Zegler, her.
Start out with the creative bankruptcy of remaking another animated classic instead of making something new. But yes, it's all Rachel Zegler and her behavior. And if it was just one comment, it probably would have been forgotten by now. But it was comment after comment, and it was pissing off everybody, pissing off old Disney fans, pissing off new Disney fans, pissing off Trump supporters, pissing off all of America. And it became such a disaster that they had to shut her up, which was the smartest move they made. But the onus is all on her and Disney's reaction to it. And quite frankly, if she had said nothing, her movie, probably still forgettable, would have done a lot better.
Absence raised many eyebrows. Fans were quick to highlight the rumored tension between the Snow White co-stars and skipping the event. Yeah, it only added fuel to the controversy, some say. Rachel didn't want to confront Gal. Others think Disney intentionally kept them apart, just like they Hawkins reportedly did during press events. No one really knows the cause, but her no-show, it definitely didn't go unnoticed. Now fans are convinced there's real conflict between them, and on Tuesday, Variety dropped a shocking report alleged behind-the-scenes drama between Rachel
Snow White, the toe-curlingly terrible live-action remake, has bombed so hard at the box office that even Paul Tassi had to admit.
And Gal finally revealed. Insiders say Rachel and Gal got along just fine while filming. No major issues, no bad blood. But as Snow White's release date neared, things started to get strange. It all began after the Oscars on March 2nd, when a fan asked if Rachel and Gal were presenting together. Rachel replied on Instagram, calling Gal a professional pageant queen. Yeah, that's not a great look, and that remark upset a lot of people the wrong way. Some called it shady, others saw it as straight-up disrespectful. From that point on, Disney intervened. They kept Rachel and Gal separate during the press tour, but instead of quelling the rumors, it made fans even more certain.
Snow White is different, and it's more of a 2022 version of Snow White. What did you mean by that?
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. I'm sure a lot of people will assume it's a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie, Andrew Burnett, great dude. Yeah. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut, who knows?
Something was amiss. Then came the LA premiere on March 15th, Rachel and Gal didn't pose together, they didn't even sit together. In fact, Rachel sat 2 rows ahead of Gal and her family, and the tension was palpable anyway at that point. Insiders say Disney had already given up, realizing there was no saving the film from the massive backlash it faced, it said. Disney had abandoned hope that the movie could overcome the criticism. Now, if empty theater seats are any indication, Snow White isn't. Off to a strong start, audiences just aren't showing up. And Rachel Zegler's critics are noticing social media is full of screenshots from ticket apps showing rows and rows of unsold seats. Some fans even posted photos of nearly empty theaters during showings. It's a tough look for a film that was already facing heavy criticism. Anyway, some critics are even joking that someone should start a GoFundMe to help Snow White recover its enormous budget. Now, Rachel Zegler first made headlines when she was cast as Snow White, but not for the best reasons. As we all know, many fans were less than thrilled with a Latina actress playing the iconic Disney princess, and that controversy didn't stop there, because what fans didn't expect was the feud between Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler now that the movie has flopped at the box office. The blame game has officially started, and Rachel, she's right in the center of it. Jonah Platt, son of Snow White producer Mark Platt, called Rachel out publicly. He blamed her self-centered behavior and political comments for damaging the movie when someone on Instagram called his dad creepy as hell. Jonah didn't stay silent. He responded, saying his father flew across the country just to confront Rachel about her statements. Jonah says she brought unnecessary controversy to the film's promotion. Despite having a multi-million-dollar contract, and when people defended her with free speech, Jonah shut that down quickly, saying free speech doesn't mean you can say anything at work without consequences.
Zegler went to go see Snow White. What do you notice about the theater? There's no one. Rachel Zegler is sitting in an empty movie theater watching her movie, giggling hysterically and maniacally. Rachel Zegler watching Snow White in an empty theater.
Especially not when millions of dollars are at stake. We can start with the creative bankruptcy of remaking another animated classic instead of creating something new. But yes, it's all Rachel Zegler and her behavior, and if it was just one comment, it probably would have been overlooked by now, but it was comment after comment, and it was angering everybody, angering old Disney fans, angering new Disney fans, angering Trump supporters, angering all of America, and it became such a disaster that they had to silence her, which was the smartest move they made, but the responsibility is all on her and Disney's reaction to it, and quite frankly, she had said nothing. Her movie, probably still forgettable, would have done much better now. What Gal Gadot did next shocked even Disney insiders, but to understand how it escalated to this point, we need to rewind with Snow White already struggling. Rachel Zegler's off-screen drama was only adding fuel to the controversy. It all began in August 2024, right after a huge win. The trailer had just hit 120 million views in 24 hours. Major milestone. But then Rachel tweeted, "Free Palestine." The backlash was immediate. Disney executives were concerned, and things got even more complicated when Gal Gadot, who's Israeli, became the target of online hate. Disney reportedly responded by enhancing Gal's security, according to Variety. Insiders say Rachel didn't grasp the repercussions of her actions. Tension with the studio grew. Producer Mark Platt even flew to New York to confront her in person, but Rachel refused to delete the post. Accusations of being too woke, blame for threats aimed at Gal. The situation escalated. It got so serious Disney reportedly had to bring in private security for Rachel too, and that's when Gal B. said